Welcome back to the second lesson of the response to the environment, humans. Right. In my previous lesson, I gave you an introduction to the nervous system, which forms the foundation of what makes it possible for us to respond to the environment. And therefore, we looked at uh, um, how the nervous system can be split into different components, right? We went further talking about the other components that makes the nervous system, which included the nerves, which are the neurons. We spoke about the receptors. We talked about the spinal cord, the brain, the sense organs, right? So now in this section, we'll be talking about the structure of the brain, the structure of your brain. So, how is your brain structured? Well, the brain is a complex organ. It's a very, very complex organ, and your life is dependent on it. Very important. However, being that a very complex organ, it consists of many parts. However, as according to the examination guideline, we're not going to look at all the parts, but we're going to look at what is prescribed for the examination according to the syllabus of grade 12, right? So now, the parts that we're going to look at, I can say the brain centers. We have A there, I'll call it A there. We have B, and we have C. We have D. We have E. Then these ones, I can name them. This part one that is slightly on top where there's this space there, this is the hypothalamus. This is the hypothalamus. Its function, we are going to talk about them later. Okay. Well, this part here is the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland. Remember, when we're looking at reproduction, we did talk about the pituitary gland, also called the hypophysis. So these are also located in the brain there. However, I want you to remember the following parts that are labeled, because your examination is going to be prescribing, is going to be questions are going to be aligned to the parts that are labeled A to E. Okay. A is the cerebrum. A is the cerebrum. Okay. While B is the corpus callosum. Corpus callosum. Look at my spelling. Callosum. Corpus. Remember the corpus luteum. But please be careful. Don't talk about the corpus luteum. This is the corpus. The corpus is the same as the corpus for the luteum, but that is another thing. But here corpus callosum. Then we got C. C is actually the cerebellum. C is the cerebellum. The cerebellum. Yes. So C is the cerebellum. Look at the spelling. Here we have got the bram belum. Bram belum. That's the difference there. Then D is the spinal cord. Be very careful here. This one is the spinal cord. However, in the examination, many students, they actually mistake D for E. Now look at E. E is the slightly swollen part here, slightly swollen part there, which is the medulla. This one is the medulla oblongata, medulla oblongata. So how many brain centers do we have under our focus area? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very important. So the critical thing that you need to remember also is to understand the function of each of these brain centers. Okay, very important. Now let's look at this here. The cerebrum has the following function. 1, the cerebrum controls voluntary actions. Controls voluntary actions. Now, what are voluntary actions? Can you think about you going to school? Usuke sewucabangile ukuthi namhlanje ngiyaya esikoleni. Can you think about you being given homework? You decide to write the homework or not to write. That's a voluntary action. Into oyikhethayo ukuyenza. Ayikho into oyenzayo. Ucabanga ukuthi to think, to say, now I'm going to the toilet. Leonto, it's controlled. That is a voluntary, because you have decided. So ucabangile ukuthi I need to go to the toilet. So those are examples of the voluntary actions. 2, it also receives and interprets sensations. It receive. Not only receive, it also receive and interpret. Now, what is to interpret? You see, as you play this video, the sound that is coming from this video is received by your ears. Then it goes to your cerebrum. The pictures you see in this lesson, they straight go to the cerebrum. Then the cerebrum explains or interprets this. This is what it means. So receive and interpret sensations. Very important. So this cerebrum, it enables you to learn. So we're able to learn because of the cerebrum. Okay. It also controls, or let me say, it is the center for higher thought process. Is the center for higher thought process. Higher thought process. So for you to be able to do your mathematics, for you to be able to solve problems, you are able to do that because your brain is able to think. Can you imagine somebody asking you, has got a problem and is seeking a solution? So you think about the problem and you are able to suggest a solution to it. Why? Because your brain center, which is the cerebrum, it enables to process that information faster, because there is a higher center of a center for higher thought process. Center for higher thought process. In other words, this is can be explained in terms of memory. Ukukhumbula. Remember, whatever you learn, you are able to apply it in the examination. That is the center for a higher thought process. Then we have got B. B is the corpus callosum. The corpus callosum simply actually separates the two halves of your brain. Now remember, your brain is divided into two hemispheres. You've got the left and the right hemisphere. These two halves of the brain, they are separated by the corpus callosum. So the corpus callosum, it enables coordination between the two halves of the brain. Enables coordination. Enables coordination. Enables ukubambisana, coordination between the two halves. The two halves of the brain. So very important. Now remember, the brain is structured in such a way that what happens on the left side is controlled by, let me say, on my left hand is controlled by my right hemisphere. What happens on the right leg, kashli bola on your right, with your right leg, it's controlled by your left hemisphere. So these nerves, they actually swap sides. The part that controls the left is on the right. So this is all about the corpus callosum. Then we've got the cerebellum. The cerebellum, one, it has the following functions. It actually coordinates voluntary movement. Be very careful. Coordinates voluntarily, let me say, voluntary movements. Can you think about the way you walk? The way you walk, you're able to walk and run, maintaining the muscles balance and equilibrium. All these, they are able to happen because your muscles are usually coordinated ubambisana, so that you are able to walk straight. So two, they maintain, it also maintain balance. Why do we walk, we don't fall? Because the cerebellum, it's always in coordination or in communication with your skeletal muscle, together with your ear, which we are going to talk about in the next lesson. Good. So then we have the medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata is controls involuntary activities or actions. Controls, look at this, controls involuntary activities. Like what? Involuntary activities, e.g., let's look at this here. There are things that you do without thinking about, isn't it? Yeah, for example, the heartbeat. The heartbeat, it actually happens automatically. Breathing, you don't think to breathe. It just happens because ukona medulla oblongata, which controls the heartbeat. Right. It also conducts impulses from the spinal cord to the cerebrum. It actually it actually allows impulses to pass, conducts impulses from the spinal cord, to the upper part of the brain, which includes the cerebellum or cerebrum. So this is very important. Now look at this here. Can you imagine injury that would happen at part E, the medulla oblongata? Somebody's injured in a soccer match or in an accident. Can you think about what is going to happen? The person is going to die instantly. Why? Because there will be no breathing. A person will, the breathing system is going to shut, and the heart is going to shut, because the heart is controlled by this center. This center is very, very important. Can we think about the protection that I spoke about? I spoke about the cranium and the meninges. See how they protect the brain, because the brain centers, they control what happens on the lower part of the brain. This is very, very important. So for now, we're going to talk about the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland, nothing much about it, because we already talked about. We're going to talk about, maybe say, when we'll be looking at the endocrine system in the hypothalamus as well. But for now, would it be right for you to master A, B, C, and E? D, we are going to talk about it in our next lesson. Right. Good day.